I've been mentioning this weekend, if there's one occupation my heart goes out to is the area of attorneys and lawyers. And the reason why is we hear so many critical aspects. One, they love the limelight. Two, there's so many of them. Three, they charge so much money. And yet, here's where it's a catch-22. You know something? If you need them, you want them right now. Right now. You talk about a catch-22. Okay? Well, that's what we hear today. First reading, Peter is led to court. Attorneys are asked, what are the charges against him? And get this, he has done a good deed. Okay? If you were the prosecution, how would you go about that one? Okay? A good deed. What was it? Remember this story? We've heard it now. Peter and John going along, there's a blind man there, or not a blind man, a lame man, crippled. Okay? Peter and John come along, he asks for an alms because, he can't work to be fed. So what do Peter and John say? We don't have an alms to give, a coin, but what we do have, we give. We give you Jesus. And with that, everyone, what does he do? He stands and he starts to walk. Well, everyone, short story shorter, this leads to that. And finally, we come to the gospel of today, where Peter's in court. Sound familiar? It should. Think about the story of Jesus. Jesus, too, everyone, is dragged to court. And what are the charges brought against him? Now, listen to this. It isn't a good deed. The charges brought against him are this. He did too many good deeds. Too many. Dangerous. Some examples. Healed on the Sabbath. Okay, called himself God. Okay, touched lepers and the dead. Okay, healed the sick. Spent time with, of all people, sinners. Well, if you actually read the rest of the story of Peter today, Peter is left off with a reprimand. We know what happens very well to Jesus. He is found guilty, and what happens in the end? He's crucified. He's crucified. So we realize now, everyone, one of the charges brought against Jesus is he was too good to too many people. And that's what we celebrate every fourth Sunday of Easter. It's Good Shepherd Sunday. Notice, we don't call it the picky shepherd. We don't call him the one who's choosy. We call him what? We call him the Good Shepherd. He's for all. And when we think about the Old Testament, everyone, think about the number of times we hear about the shepherd. Psalm 23. I'm going to start it, you end it. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Do you really believe that? The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. What you're saying is, I don't want anything else. I don't need it. The Good Shepherd is enough. Do you really believe that? That's what you say. Turn to the prophet Ezekiel, everyone, and talks about bad shepherds. Shepherds who take advantage of the sheep, who use them for their own good. Prophet Ezekiel says, God makes a different promise. I will come to you, and I will shepherd you. I will lead you home. And people, when we hear about the shepherd now today, I want us to be careful about what it is that we are not hearing. This is not the story of the shepherd and the gate. None of that. This is not the story of the shepherd leaving the 99, going in search of the one, finding the one, placing it on his shoulder, and bringing it home. That's not the gospel of today. Not. Instead, it's a different story. And that's what we have to try to understand today. What is it? What does John chapter 10 tell us about the Good Shepherd today? 3 things. Number 1, the shepherd is willing to lay down his life for his sheep. Now, most of us probably in school at some time studied different gods. Okay, what do we learn about these gods? Well, people worshiped them, they honored them, they even went to them, they offered sacrifice so that they would answer their prayers. But get this, never was it ever conceived that their God would die. Never. None of them ever did die. It's what makes Christianity unique. Our God died. Not for fame, not for glory. He died for his sheep. I'm the good shepherd. I don't lay down my life for the sheep. Second, the good shepherd knows his sheep. Sheep know the shepherd. I'll give you a little illustration today, everyone. It's not about sheep, but it gives you an idea. We'll go back to my sister and her cats, all of her cats. You guys kind of get a kick out of all of her cats. I don't know what there is. From 42, she might be at 24, so it's getting down there, but a long way to go. But once in a while, everyone, what my sister does is she brings a cat. With that many, of course, you're going to have surgeries. You know, you're going to have different things happen. So she's placed in the basement where she sometimes makes it a cat hospital. Okay? And when I go in there, everyone, you open the door. Most of them are scared, you know. So what do? They run and they hide. Okay? And when I try to call their name, they just don't come. Okay, now my sister's story is different. Now let's go back here. Okay, when she goes in the room, the cat doesn't know exactly who's coming in. Okay? So what happens, everyone? The cat runs. But you know what's different? Is this. When my sister comes in and she calls, they will come. Why? She knows them, and they know her. Okay, that's what the shepherd is. Shepherd knows the sheep. Sheep know the shepherd. Shepherd knows the voice of the sheep. The sheep know the voice of the shepherd. Okay. Third thing. Did you notice what I said to the kids? Shepherd leads. Here's a story for you. Father Joe Robinson's a priest here in the United States, everyone. One time he went on a trek to Israel, and he climbed Mount Sinai, and he was coming down Mount Sinai. He said he saw this story. It was a story of a shepherdess with her sheep. And they were up there on Mount Sinai, the sheep, going looking amongst the rocks for different vegetation. Okay? Well, it was getting close to night, and the shepherdess didn't want to be out with the sheep at night. So here's what she did. She pulled a flute out, and she started to play the flute. And as she played the flute, she headed towards home. And as she went home, as the story goes, the sheep fell in line behind her. Here's my question for you. If we played the flute, would they follow us? Now, don't jump on that too quick. We're not talking about a voice here. Okay? I'll give you a good illustration. If I was going to say, if we were going to just try something today, and I said, everyone, before Mass begins, close your eyes. Okay? We're going to try to figure out if Father Schuster is here today, and I got up there, you heard my voice, you would know it. But you know something? If I said, who's playing the flute, you wouldn't know it. It's different. Okay? So you can't say no. It might not. But the point of the story is this. The shepherd led, and the sheep followed. What I was telling the kids, turn that around, and you get in front of the shepherd, bad things happen. Right? All right? So that's why we always say the shepherd leads, and the sheep follow behind. And you know something? In the midst of this world today, I wonder how many of us, all the distractions, the noises, our phones, all of our televisions, our radios, do we even know what the voice of the shepherd sounds like? Do we know what he's saying to us? Can we hear it? Can we hear it? Okay? To all of you celebrating your rite of affirmation today, I got this to say. Here's a simple summary for you. You ready? I am on jury duty for Martin County this year. Do not go to court. I am the shepherd. You are my sheep. You know me. I know you. Do not go to court. Enough said. Let's take a moment today, everyone. Let's bless our soil and seeds as we celebrate the beauty of this spring and the planting season.